Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. And all the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The whole congregation said to them, "Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become a prey. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" And they said to one another, "Let us choose a leader and go back to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the people of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes and said to all the congregation of the people of Israel, "The land which we passed through to spy it out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not fear the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their protection is removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them." Then all the congregation said to stone them with stones. But the glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all the people of Israel. And the Lord said to Moses, "How long will this people despise me? And how long will they not believe in me in spite of all the signs that I have done among them? I will strike them with pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make of you a nation greater and mightier than they." You murmured in your hearts and said, "It is because God hates us that he brought us out of the land of Egypt, to hand us over to the Amorites to wipe us out." So reads Moses' diagnosis of that first generation of Israelites. And he was certainly in a position to know. He spoke with God face to face as a man would speak with his friend. And he lived with this people and watched their bodies drop on that desert floor for 38 years. "They always go astray in their hearts, and they have not known my ways," shouts the exasperated God of Israel. Moses' diagnosis suggests the root of this straying heart and the void of their God experience, an inability to grasp the basic goodness of God towards them, for them. Their world was hostile and dark, and God was darker still to them. They could only view him and the world around them through malevolent hues that shut them down at every turn and left them unable to go anywhere. Their furious weeping expresses a persecutory sense of being hated by God, observes one writer. Methinks they aren't the only ones. The sad reality is that Moses was diagnosing more than that failed first generation of Israelites who stepped out of their bondage but were unable to complete the step into their freedom and truly own it. He's diagnosing the basic human condition that we all share by default. It's in our DNA, it's in our bones, and it's as old as the garden. With Lady Macbeth, we consume a lifetime trying to rub out the damned spots of the incredulous core within us that refuses to really believe at a fundamental level that God is for us, that an essential goodness beats at the heart of all reality. How hard for us to exchange these malevolent filters for hues bathed in hope. Joshua and Caleb repeatedly stressed, "The land is good," as they sought to turn the hearts of their countrymen. But that their contemporaries could see. They all acknowledged the evidence on display right before their eyes. Who could deny it? The inner protest, "Yes, but God isn't," was simply too loud, too deep, too ingrained. No, we can't rub out this spot. It takes the miracle of a touch and the ever so slight turning on our part to receive it, to keep receiving it. It's our own inner canting a single 1/1,000,000th of a degree in this direction rather than that makes all the difference. Or as Christ put it, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed. That single 1/1,000,000th of a degree, that speck of a seed, is the difference between a dead-end desert pit and the platform Paul describes that is filled with imbricated possibilities of faith, hope, and love. Paul says, by entering through faith into what God has always wanted to do for us, set us right with Him, make us fit for Him, we have it all together with God because of our Master Jesus. And that's not all. We throw open our doors to God and discover at the same moment that He's already thrown open His door to us. We find ourselves standing where we always hoped we might stand, out in the wide open spaces of God's grace and glory, standing tall and shouting our praise. There's more to come. We continue to shout our praise even when we're hemmed in with troubles, because we know how troubles can develop passionate patience in us, and how that patience in turn forges the tempered steel of virtue, keeping us alert for whatever God will do next. In alert expectancy such as this, we're never left feeling shortchanged. Quite the contrary. We can't round up enough containers to hold everything God generously pours into our lives through the Holy Spirit. Oh, to cant this way, to release and realize the unending creative possibilities of God, of life, rather than to cant as they did.